The Oklahoma City Thunder, Danny, Shanae, they are one win away from a second consecutive NBA Finals berth, and here is how they got it done here in Game 5. Keldon Johnson, I'm not sure what exactly he was saying to Victor.
You're that dude.
It didn't.
I know it didn't really transpire. Just one day.
Both stars actually struggled to start this game. Shea, he struggled early, just 1 for 5 in the first quarter, but the difference maker is that everyone else combined for 9 of 15 for OKC here, and then they really limited Victor Wembanyama, Shanae.
Yeah, Victor Wembanyama, anytime he's shooting from 3 and missing, you're going to actually breathe a sigh of relief if you're the Oklahoma City Thunder. Look at how well they did. I know it was an off night for him, but it was just tough to see him miss his bunnies.
Yeah, and Mark Daigneault, despite many of us, I'll include myself in that us, saying, is this Hartenstein series, stuck with him? And he was impactful. Here, though, Shea drops Victor.
Shooter's
bounce.
Let me see yo Tootsie roll.
Yeah, I think shooter's bounce is better than
SGA, he rebounded with 12 points in the second frame here. So to the third we go. Jared McCain started this game, only had 2 points in the first half. He had 18 of his 20 in the second.
Strong little guy right there. Strong little man. He's not little. He's like 6'5".
Yeah,
everybody forgets he's 6'5".
Hits the step back here. Now, Wemby immediately signaled for everyone to get together and chat. Here's De'Aaron Fox on what Victor said.
We don't want our season to end this week, so obviously getting down, you don't want to get down, but when we got down, we have to be willing to fight back because, we could lose today and then, lose in 2 days and your season's over.
It ain't done yet, but they did take one step closer to their season ending here. The Spurs defense.
Some holes there. Anytime SGA can go north and south with no resistance and finish with a signature layup and one, son, it's not a good sign for the Spurs.
So this got a lot of attention in the Ethernet, which appears that Wemby said something to both Mason Plumlee and Bismack Biyombo here, and then a hard foul there on Jared McCain, Danny.
Yeah, I don't, people are going to read deep into everything. I don't think there's anything.
That is
basketball.
That is very true.
When they call this foul here, this is a block shot. If Danny Green goes on lane and gets his floater smacked to the other side, guess what they're doing?
It's
a play on.
About in the third person. OKC wins this one 127-114, and now they lead the series 3-2 here. So SGA, he recorded his 24th playoff game with at least 30 points and 5 assists with Oklahoma City. By the way, that does tie Russell Westbrook for the most of those types of games in team history. But Janae, it wasn't really a pretty 30-point night for SGA here.
It wasn't.
He talked about his teammates' impact and specifically what Chet Holmgren was able to do in this all-important Game 5.
I don't ever worry about Chet just because I know how much he loves the game, how much he cares, and how much he works. He'll figure it out no matter what it looks like. He'll get to it, and I'd bet on Chet 10 times out of 10, and he proved why I would bet on him tonight. I always say we're a team out there. We don't get this far. I don't have this individual success. This team doesn't have this success without all 15 guys in the locker room, and we proved this tonight. If it was 4 or 5 me's out there, we would have been down 20 after the first quarter. But the guys were great to start the game. I probably should never start like that again and give us a better chance to win a ball game, but the guys held it down.
I feel you, Shea. I'm a utility player. 5 me's out there, we ain't doing much. I need Shanae, I need Danny. But this was an impressive win for the Thunder. I loved what Brian Windhorst said on our show yesterday, Shanae. He said the Thunder are never desperate. And they fully showed this, Danny, in that last game.
They did, and the bigs came to play. Got to give a lot of credit to Chet. We called him out. Everybody's been calling him out throughout the whole week or the last couple of days because he hasn't showed up much. But they rebounded. Isaiah Hartenstein's been rebounded, but Chet, he put himself in position, took advantage of the smalls, got them in. Whenever Wemby went to go help, he was ducking in. Isaiah was ducking in. Went to the offensive glass, was more assertive, more aggressive. You see, these are plays that he normally doesn't have. He's looking for a shot, being aggressive, getting his spots, getting to the glass. So these little things, this activity changes the whole dynamic, changes the whole atmosphere and energy of their group. When he came to bring it, it allowed everybody else to kind of follow suit and make it easier for SGA.
I'm sorry, guys. I watched the Michael Jackson movie, and it lives rent-free in my head. And we know Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. He's I'm bad. He's a bad man. He truly is bad. He's averaged 30 points per game the last 4 seasons.
Even on bad nights, yeah.
But even on bad nights. But one thing he's always going to do regardless is still trust his teammates. And this was on full display. Caruso with the screen to get him open. Hartenstein with the screen for him to attack. Here you're going to see he's going to draw 2. This should be a show and go with Victor Wembanyama, but instead and Victor stays too late
There's
because
that
he's that lethal. On the backside, there's the duck in. There's a mismatch for Isaiah Hartenstein. Kelvin Johnson, 6'6". He's a 7-footer. Easy layup. He's still going to trust others even as he's putting in work and getting points. Caruso again with the screen to get him open. Hartenstein with the screen for him to attack. This time he's going to make another read. Most people probably would try to score, but it's Victor. The guy has an infinite wingspan. He sees the corner shooter, which is Alex Caruso, who had 22 on the night and shooting near 60% from three. Shea always trusts his teammates. That's why this team plays well on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, and it was, as you said, Shea, though, he struggled a little bit early, and he trusted his teammates. But how did he get himself going? He's such a smart player. He used getting to the free throw line to kind of find it, Danny.
Yes, he did. And that's why he's one of the highest IQ players. That's why he's a 2-time MVP. Not because he's talented. With those things, he is talented. He's crafty. He's athletic. He's deceptive. Nobody knows his speeds. But he's smart, and he knows how to draw fouls. Like, he got himself into the game time and time again by putting these guys in position to foul him. And obviously, of course, embellishing a little bit, selling it some. But he knows how to use his body. He knows how to use angles, put them in position, pump fake, get them in the air to where they have to draw fouls. And eventually, you get enough free throws to go down. He shot 17 of them.
Right.
You're going to find rhythm. After he got those two, I think it was mid-first or second quarter, got those 2 free throws to drop, next you know, he hits a mid-range. Then you get the shooter's bounce. Now he's in rhythm. So him going to the free throw line was smart, not only for his team, but for himself to get himself going.
And Shea also knows how to control his emotions. There was a key moment where this happened in the series where he was cooking, he was going one-on-one. Do you guys remember this? And Jared McCain was calling for the ball.
Yes.
And he turned, he was like, chill. I don't know if he said chill. He said, calm down.
There was an expletive in there as well.
There were. But I like this pairing. Jared McCain starting, they're like fire and ice. Shea is cool. He's going to always be consistent. But they needed a little firepower knowing that A.J. Mitchell, J-Dub were out. And so what do they get now? Now they get a guy who comes in, and when he was asked in the post-game conference, they're like, he oozes confidence. And that translates to the play that they need on the floor.
Yeah, and you hear Jared McCain say it. He's, I don't know how I got so lucky. I'm having the time of my life. And that certainly translates to the floor. And a lot of this, yes, it's what Oklahoma City did well, particularly after the dud of a game they had in San Antonio in Game 4. But the Spurs, they didn't look like they had that sort of punch from the jump here. Let's take a listen to Mitch Johnson, what he had to say after the loss.
To beat a team of this caliber in their building, what's the stakes will need to be a lot better to give yourself a chance. There's a lot of things all over the place where even when we had advantages and we just didn't make simple plays that take advantage of the opportunity in that possession. And in this type of game, you got to be sure of everything you're doing in a very secure, mature way.
I just think with the way they guard, how physical they are, we don't get that same luxury to be able to play as physical on the other end at times. But offensively, I think we do a good job of screening and playing through it. So I think we create a lot of advantages, but I think we just missed a lot of open shots tonight.
So notably, Victor Wembanyama did not speak to reporters after Game 5. It's pretty unusual, I think, for the young superstar. The NBA, remember, requires players to be available to speak after games, and this was the biggest game of Victor Wembanyama's career, and so I would have loved to hear from him. Now, the NBA has warned Victor about not speaking to reporters, and certainly this isn't something that they're going to condone happening again here. But, Danny, when you look at games, the difference between Game 4 and Game 5, what changed here for San Antonio?
I mean, for me, it looks like the fatigue, and mostly on Victor. Like, his legs weren't there, his energy, his activity.
He had that a little bit in Game 3, too, right?
And that's why I think that overtime game, those minutes are starting to add up when it comes to him. And his rebounds are a direct, reflection, and you can see the correlation. When he's rebounding, that shows his activity. When he's having 8 or more rebounds a game, they're 7-2. When he's under 8, they're 2-4 now. So he doesn't get his own rebound, throwing it up off the glass. He's not able to get that as much. Them keeping away from the paint. Obviously, he's missing some chippies, some bunnies. But he's always able to get those second chance points, which he wasn't able to get in Game 5. And that shows, like, his fatigue to me. He had an alley-oop opportunity that didn't go through. Like, there's a couple of possessions that showed he was half a second late on Shea making a layup, not blocking it. You know, Hartenstein getting a floater. He's like half a second late on these blocks. So them shooting 69% at the line or against him at the rim is very unlike him. So Uncarrious' game is one of his probably worst games of the postseason.
Worst plus minus of the postseason, a -8 for Victor.
Yeah, so them shooting 69% is probably the worst stat that I've heard when it comes to him, because it usually affects the game. If he's not having a great offensive night, defensively he can make it up by deterring them from getting to the basket and also blocking some shots, and I didn't see that last night.
This, to me, was the welcome to the NBA playoffs moment through adversity for Victor Wembanyama, having to fight through fatigue and just falling short. on the other side, when you're seeing him, well, actually, there was a play. Did you guys notice in the second half he had an alley-oop?
Yeah.
They threw it up to him,
Yeah.
and
Dylan
normally
Harper.
he just would just put it in, and he didn't have the legs to even
Rip the
finish
screws
that.
out, as
To me,
Perkins
that
said.
was a sign. Yeah, tear the screws out the rim. That was a sign. But when Victor is in these circumstances, you expect teammates to be there to help him step up. Stephon Castle has his hands full. I know the foul trouble at times can hamper him, but he's guarding SGA, and that's difficult, and he's trying to compete. He's their second leading scorer in this series, 19 points per game. He's got his hands full. The Dylan Harpers, the De'Aaron Foxes, who we know are not 100%, that to me is where they need the boost. And it's hard because in the postseason you want to be healthy, but not everyone is healthy at all the right times to help Victor Wembanyama sort of create some energy.
Right. When your two stars are shooting 8 for 30, and I'm going to put De'Aaron Fox and Victor Wembanyama as those two stars, the anchors, the elder statesmen in a lot of ways of this team, that's not a recipe for success. However, I do expect this to go 7. This is the kind of setup that Victor Wembanyama has a huge bounce back game. Because after game 3, I thought the same thing. There's no way that he has more gas in the tank. And then he had this enormous game 4. And so that's the type of bounce back game we've come to expect from Victor Wembanyama. This is where stars get made. We still got a lot to